makes 14, Mr. Volkov. Do you feel better yet?
A little. Let's do one more.
Bring in Laramie.
Please, don't do this. I beg you.
Feed him into the machine.
I'm still upset.
Bring in Mackenzie.
Mother, we've been over this 1,000 times. I'm not coming home for Christmas.
You want to kill me like you killed your father.
Mummy, Daddy died of dysentery in Kenya.
He died of a broken heart because you never amounted to anything. When I think of the sacrifices we made...
Goodbye, Mother.
Don't you hang up...
Marvin, be a good chap and fetch me a little drinky poo, would you? Mr. Volkov was disappointed to learn that Kate Archer is still alive.
Then let him kill her.
Don't be impertinent.
She's not my enemy.
She's my enemy, and you're my retainer. Or have you forgotten who saved your life all those years ago? Don't tell me you're afraid of her.
I fear no one.
Then kill her, and bring back proof this time. Her head on a platter should suffice.
We were hoping for something a little more conclusive. What do you know about this H.A.R.M organization?
We've had dealings with them before. They were barely competent at the time. Rumor has it they've restructured the organization since then, but nobody's quite sure what that means exactly.
Means you didn't kick their butts hard enough.
If nothing else, we've established that Project Omega is H.A.R.M's brainchild, even if we still don't know exactly what it is.
That proposal we found was dated 1965.
And?
That means it was well underway during the H.A.R.M incident last year.
We've already scoured the North American facility where they were keeping Dr. Schenker. There's no mention of Project Omega in the files we recovered. Sadly, the Alpine facility was completely demolished.
There's one other place I can think to look.
Where?
Akron, Ohio.
We've searched Goodman's house.
Blitzney.
Pardon?
His name was Melvin Blitzney. Tom Goodman died in Amsterdam, remember?
Regardless, our teams have been through the place thoroughly.
I haven't.
This is a waste of time.
We'll see.
Well, be careful.
I'll bring you a souvenir.
Please don't.
Hi-yo, agents. Welcome back to No One Lives Forever 2. We find ourselves in Akron, Ohio, looking through the previous house of Melvin Blitzney, a.k.a. Tom Goodman, a.k.a. H.A.R.M double agent. He had a lot of problems, okay? This area has lots of little nods back to the first game, along with some other intelligence that will, give us another look into the mind of Melvin Blitzney. What a trashy place it is. But it's a bit of a quiet mission otherwise, which should give me some time to, possibly talk about Contract Jack, that most wonderful of games. So Contract Jack is officially a prequel to this game. And the entire idea is H.A.R.M hires a contract killer named John Jack, I think is his name. Yeah, very, very original. And essentially what they need him to do is they're trying to fight against an organization called Danger, an opposing spy organization. So, as it turns out, what Danger is doing is trying to commandeer a rocket to the moon. H.A.R.M did have that lunar base in No One Lives Forever 1, but apparently when it was, had all of its issues, there was a surviving scientist up there, Dr. Harij, who is, well, Danger and Jack are both trying to find him and capture him, rescue him, whichever. The thing is, Contract Jack had some good set pieces. Going through space and jumping from one rocket to another is a pretty neat set piece. But the problem is the gunplay in these games has never been a big draw. The gunplay is very competent. I mean, it's well done, but it's not fantastic. The problem with Contract Jack is the big draw of these games has always been they have a massive sense of humor. They've got a love for the subject. Contract Jack had maybe 2 jokes. It doesn't exactly fill one with confidence. Anyway, at the end of Contract Jack, Dmitry Volkov confronts our wondrous hero Jack on top of a snowy mountain, and shoots him and leaves him for dead. And of course, there's a pair of skis close by where Volkov is skiing. So in the last cutscene of the game, there's this image of Jack getting back up and then walking towards the skis. That's all you see. So that's one possible explanation for what happened to Volkov, is he pissed off a contract killer, and as a result he, as a result he was maybe pushed down a mountain or something. Skiing accident, these things happen. Of course, there's always all kinds of conflicting information. I think one of the stories I've heard about the creation of Contract Jack is a lift tech or some executive involved in the making of these games. He was at a store where they were selling it and heard some kid saying, "I can't believe they're selling a game with a girl in it." Obviously, video game executive developers being who they are, it was a knee-jerk reaction. They said, "Oh, well, we can make the same game, but give it a girl. Or give it a guy instead." Which, again, the gunplay isn't really the big thing. You could totally make a game like this and have a male protagonist. You just have to keep in mind what makes the formula successful, like all the jokes, or being an obscenely loving spy thriller. Which this game is not nearly as much as the first game was. I think somebody pointed out that if the humor's different, and if an example of the Russians talking about, "Oh, well, he used to beat his girlfriend," it's probably not the best suggestion. But we do have all the audio tapes, so let's take a listen.
Hello, my name is Tom Goodman. Yes, I'm Tom Goodman, Master Spy. Hey, sugar, ever made it with a spy? The name's Tom Goodman. They call me Tom. Well, hello there. Crap. This is the audio diary of Tom Goodman, Volume 1, August 7th, 1965. My spy training kit arrived in the mail today from Mr. X. It includes a Unity field manual, a telephone monitoring device, and this tape recorder. I've decided to keep a log of my experiences for my memoirs. That way... Dang it! This is the Diary of Tom Goodman, Volume 2, August 14th, 1965. Operation Imitation is proceeding ahead of schedule. It's only been a few weeks since I met Mr. X at that dive in Fort Lauderdale, and already I have become Tom Goodman, secret agent extraordinaire. Tomorrow, I begin Phase 2. This is the Diary of Tom Goodman, Volume 3, August 27th, 1965. I've installed my top-secret spy headquarters in the basement. I call it my inner sanctum. wonder if he takes me seriously. What, does he think I am a sock puppet, huh? Is that it, Mr. X? You think you can just stick your hand up my butt and make me dance? Tom Goodman dances for nobody. Diary of Tom Goodman, Volume 5, December 9th, 1965. A breakthrough at last. She wasn't good looking and she smelled like a horse, but she was woman enough for me. The last obstacle to my success as a super spy has been conquered. As of today, I am no longer a virgin. Yee-haw!
Enlightening. I do appreciate the one mention of Goodman being treated like a puppet, because the bad guy, the main antagonist, well, one of the main antagonists of No One Lives Forever 1. Hello. Anyway, one of the main antagonists, Mr. Smith, worked at Unity. Turns out he was responsible for the puppet they were using to try and blackmail the world, so I don't think that Goodman, Blitzney would have known about that, but it's still interesting enough. Dmitry Volkov is just so amusingly catty in that memo. I enjoy it. We do have a few more things to upgrade. Stealth is almost maxed out, at which point it will be really fast. I'm also probably going to continue working on weapons and marksmanship. And we can see, of course, that Goodman is an extremely persuasive writer. And here's his collection of obnoxious t-shirts. I don't know why there's a katana here, but why not?
Find her, quickly!
Oh, by the way, I hope you didn't expect this level to be all silence. We're being attacked by ninjas. The ninjas do take a few more hits than I did in the previous map. At least I think so. Then again, last time we fought them, I did have a crossbow instead of a pistol, so maybe it was just less noticeable.
That's strange.
Almost as strange as a ninja star to the head. Yeah, I imagine those are probably about equally as strange, come to think of it.
I know you're here somewhere!
The shurikens do require some travel time, so they're not great when it comes to fighting ninjas, but sometimes it's the only option you really have.
Where?
Oh well, one way out. Now, at this point, this level becomes a Escape the Ninjas game. They will spawn in infinitely. At this point, you'll start to see two different variations. The one in the brown geese, they'll pretty much focus on hello.
Cut off. We'll have to find
The ones with the brown uniforms will focus on throwing shurikens, the ones with the red will also throw them to an extent, but mostly they'll focus on zooming in to try and slice you. We have found a new weapon, the combat shotgun. It's not fantastic. It's alright, I guess. It's not one of my favorites. It is not satisfying in the way that some video game shotguns are, but we really need to find a way out of here. And, with that electricity wire being down, that appears to not be the direction. Of course, it's Ohio. Why wouldn't there be a twister?
Back here!
It is possible to get bogged down at enemies here. I would pretty much, for this first section, just shoot people in your way and really kind of ignore the rest of them. I mean, you literally can't kill them all. This level has, I guess you might say the enemies are a little more aggressively respawning than normal, which makes sense, since they're all here to kill you. It checks out, mentally.
Can we postpone this? Fine.
And so now we're going to have a nice stand-up fight with Hisako. I'm sure this can't possibly go poorly. There's a lot of dynamic things that'll be happening in this level, so, you know, keep your eyes out for flying objects. Or keep your head down, I should say, maybe. That home is a little too mobile for my tastes. So at this point I realize I haven't really shown off too many of the alternate ammo types. Poison darts, or poison bullets, are of course back from the original game. They leave behind a cloud that can be rather dangerous to you as well. So, you know, don't walk into poison. It's bad for you. Another reason to not get too bogged down fighting these ninjas, as you do go around in the area, their bodies will despawn automatically. So if you run out of all your ammo, you're gonna have a bad time. I want to say all those repeated barks there was a ninja getting crushed by a trailer home, but you know, these things happen. Occupational hazards. I don't actually know what happens if you're in the way of the trailers when they're flying, but I would imagine it doesn't go well for you. But now we finally incapacitated enough ninjas that Hisako herself is going to come fight us. once you get her down to a certain health threshold, she will flee towards a certain part of the map. All you have to do is follow her.
You're very determined. I made a promise.
Oops, that's not what I want to do. Our final confrontation with Hisako takes place in this, well, home that has become a little more mobile than probably intended. It's rather close quarters, so some sort of melee weapon would probably be best recommended.